Okay, I'm just gonna wait just maybe like 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just go with the roll with the live. And the purpose of this live is just to discuss and just to unpack and share a little bit about why I decided to start doing Feature Friday on my podcast, Speak Your Success Podcast, for those who join. Hello, welcome, welcome, Mo. Welcome, Sean. So yeah, so I just really wanted to I just wanted to take the time and do a live just to share with people, understanding that. Well, first and foremost, before I get started, you all, if you're following me, then and you're able to see this, then you probably are already following me. My name is Jonathan Jones. I'm a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and the podcast host for Speak Your Success Podcast. And the reason I started doing Feature Friday was just having the opportunity to highlight different individuals throughout the DFW area, the opportunity to be able to highlight people who I feel are really doing things and that they really have good brand movement. And I really believe in what they're doing. So therefore, I wanted to bring them on the podcast. And by way of bringing them on my podcast, now they would be able to share their message and potentially maybe connect with somebody else. And just like I interviewed Brandon Moore it was last week, but we dropped the episode yesterday. And Coach Gwen, how are you doing? And the reason we dropped the episode with Brandon was because I saw what Brandon was doing around the DFW area. I initially connected with him through a networking event that Jaron Collins put on. And by way of them doing that event, the goal at the event was to connect with people. The goal then was to help people become more acclimated with the DFW area, and ultimately just helping people begin to build efficient and effective relationships. So now with me doing the Feature Friday, that's really what it is. It's basically an expansion of the Winner Circle of the Week. And the Winner Circle of the Week was just me personally highlighting individuals. But now I've opened up Feature Friday to where people can go on my website at jonathanjonespeaks.com/podcast. If you scroll down to the bottom, then you have opportunity to where you now can begin to see and apply to be a potential Feature Friday guest. And then that link takes you, it's a button at the bottom, it says Feature Friday guest. Then after you fill out that informational form, then you can see all the other guests that I've had on my show thus far. And we've had four interviews. Dad, Fred Jones, the book coach. The second interview we did was Grant Skeldon. He's a millennial leader, and he just has a real passion and a heart for this generation, operating through ministry. Next, we have Marcus Gilmore. And then just yesterday, like I said, we had Brandon Moore. He's a local vlogger in the DFW area. He does photography, videography, and he just has a heart to see people connected. So the reason I want to do this today was just to open it up and do question and answer. If you have any questions just about the podcast, you have any questions about me, or you want to see where you can find this podcast, then I would encourage you to drop those questions down below now so I can engage with you, I can interact and get you some more information. Because like I said before, the whole purpose of Speaker Success, the podcast, is to help provide tangible self-help strategies and also share people's share successes, and ultimately hoping that it encourages you to do the same thing. So if there are any questions at this time, I would love to go ahead and answer your questions. I would love to interact with you. I would love to engage with you, just so that we can be connected, and also just so that you can have the opportunity to find the podcast. If you don't know where the podcast is located, it's on my website, Jonathan Jones Speaks /podcast, or you can go to SoundCloud, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple Podcasts, you can go to Google Play, you can even go to iHeartRadio. And if you're on any of those platforms, if you're on all of those platforms, I would encourage you to check out the podcast, take time, give it a listen, and see what you grasp from it, what you can glean from it. We're up to 129 episodes at this point, so I'm sure that there's something for everybody who is a millennial, something for everybody who is a young professional, but ultimately it just provides the opportunity for each and every one of us to be able to grow. And then with each and every one of us being able to grow, then that allows us to help other people grow, and that allows us to help other people get connected, so that ultimately we can help each other. And by helping each other, then we're able to expand the message and expand the impact. So if anybody has any questions, I would encourage you just to drop those questions down below. Then I'll definitely get to you. And if not, we'll see how long this goes, because this is the first time that I'm doing I guess, a recap of a podcast, and I haven't really done that before. So it's something new we're trying. It's something that we want to see how it flows, how it goes, and if we're going to continue to do this. So if you have a question, I would encourage you, please, just to take that time and drop the questions below. Whew. If not, I'm just curious to see how everybody's 2019 has been kicked off thus far. How's everything going? Everything flowing smooth? Everything good for everybody so far? So currently we're streaming live on Instagram, as well as we're streaming live on YouTube. And from now on, we're going to be streaming live on Instagram, YouTube, and also Facebook. So whichever platform you have, I don't want to miss you. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to be connected and making sure that you have the chance to definitely. And then if you're also listening, I would encourage you, if you haven't taken the time I would encourage you just to listen to the podcast, because like I said before, I believe that the podcast has great information, great content. We've covered so many topics, from mental health awareness to strategies on helping you rise earlier in the morning, to even different things about helping you find a mental health professional, things about helping you goal plan, setting out strategies, and also just raw motivation. Because every Monday we drop a Monday motivation just to help encourage you, just to help pump you up, just to help you kick off your week. Because I know 85% of people hate their jobs, according to a Gallup survey. So therefore, I want to start doing the podcast on Mondays so that people can have that flash of motivation and get what they need out of the gate to kick the week off strong. I'm probably gonna hang out for a few more minutes, just because I want to make sure that you get a chance to connect. Hi everybody that's streaming. Hi everybody that comes in and catches the replay. Man, just a little bit about me. I'm out here in Texas, and one of the passions I had when I initially started the podcast, it was just to just create a podcast that's bite-sized and that's digestible for individuals, because I know that there's a lot of people out there who might do like 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour podcasts. Joe Rogan is one of those people who does a 4-hour podcast. Shout out to Joe Rogan, because his following is so strong that he can go for 4 hours and people listen. And I think that's amazing. And I think that's a testament just to show of his persistence, his consistency, and all the great work and the great things that he has done. So Joe Rogan, if you're listening to this, kudos to you, my man, because you're definitely tearing it up out there. But in addition to that, man, I think that each and every one of us has a voice. I feel that each and every one of us has a story, and podcast is a great place for you to share that thing. And the Speaker Success Podcast, every time I come on, I say, what's going on, successors? Because I believe that each and every one of you that has ears to hear, that has a mouth to speak, or however you might communicate, I believe that your story matters. I believe that you should share your story, because your story is a prescription to someone else's pain. And when we begin to share our story, we make our pain pay us back. So continue, friends, get them, commit them to memory, commit them to your mind, commit it to where you get to the place where you're like, I need to grow. Because today, the topic of today is, plain and simply, it's a Q&A, just to help just to help us ultimately, whatever questions you might have for me, I can answer them. It's a Q&A about the Feature Friday, because I just dropped the episode yesterday, and it was with, like I said before, Brandon Moore. And one thing I really appreciate about Brandon is, in the interview, he talked about how he has a heart to really serve people. He has a heart to help grow people in relationship, grow people in community, and get them connected to others elsewhere throughout the DFW. And I think that's what's so great about stories. And I think that's what's so great about our gifts, is that we can connect with other people. Times have you been somewhere and there was something that you were in dire need of, but you didn't know where you could get it? You were in dire need of a message. You're in dire need of a word. You're in dire need of encouragement, but you couldn't find anybody who could provide that for you. So, that's why I brought Brandon on, because Brandon loves to connect people. And he also went on to talk about just the importance of him and his blog, where he shares the fact of events that are taking place every week. Every week, Brandon has at least 5 to 7 events on his page, on his Instagram story, because he wants to help spotlight other individuals where you can go and get a great loaded baked potato. He wants to share a spot where there might be somebody who has delicious baked goods that you might have not known about, you might have not discovered, but he wants to help shine the spotlight on them. So just sharing that, and inspiration is always needed, because the world at times can be so dark, the world at times can be so broken, the world at times can be just a tough place, and sometimes we feel isolated. That was another reason why I wanted to start doing the features, because I didn't want anybody to feel as if their story couldn't resonate, or I didn't want somebody who might say, John, your story is good, I appreciate your story, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily resonate with me. So I want to bring on different individuals with different stories, and now by them being able to share their different story, something will resonate with you, something will hit with you. That's why I shared before that we have so many episodes at this point. Episode 129 is which one we're on now. And that's plain and simply because I wanted to make sure that there was something for everyone to have, something for everyone to grow from, something for everybody to be able to take, to be able to apply, and to be able to grow from that particular message. Are there any other questions that have surfaced? Let's see. Okay. Somebody said, what is the topic today? The topic is it's a Q&A. Just a Q&A for the recap of our podcast episode 129, which now we started streaming on YouTube. So if you'd like to actually watch the podcast, or you're more so a visual learner, I would encourage you to go to my YouTube page. You can type in Jonathan Jones Speaks, and then my name will pop up. And the video where it says Feature Friday with Brandon Moore, that would be the video that I'm unpacking right now, just a little bit, just to give you a little bit information. What is your number one tip for being a successful speaker? Wow. Number one tip to be a successful speaker is remain authentic. And I say remain authentic because we live in a world where people post pictures and post videos with filters and special effects and all these other things to make something appear differently than what it authentically is. Therefore, I feel that once we begin to get to a real place to where we're able to accept ourselves as is, no extra ingredients, no seasoning salt, no Tonys, or no freshly grinded pepper. When we can enjoy when we can be our authentic selves, I think that is when an individual can be an extremely successful speaker, because you have to be authentic to who you are. You have to be authentic to yourself. And by you being authentic to yourself, then people will begin to connect with you on a real level. Because if you give people fluff and you always put out fluff and you share fluff and you lie all the time and tell whatever fibs you want to tell, that there is no way that people will begin to resonate with you, because they're like, no, you're not even a real person. My friend said, no Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce. No sauce needed. No sauce needed. Just bare chicken, just regular chicken. Oh, man. So are there any other questions? But I would say that's my number one tip for being a successful speaker is be authentic. Because at the end of the day, your authentic self will always show. When adversity hits, your authentic self will be revealed. When success hits, your authentic self will be revealed. So we have to remain to be authentic. We have to remain to be ourselves, because the tail of the tape, it always comes out. It always comes out. Wishing everybody a happy new year. Hello, my cousin. Hello, my friends. Everybody who is in the building. Hello, my father. What's going on, Mike the Motivator? I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. I don't know if anybody has told you happy new year yet. Well, happy new year. I believe that this will be your best year yet, as long as you put forth the work, as long as you show up. Like my dad always says, half of being a success, well, 80% of being a success is showing show up. And then once you show up, you show out. So everybody, hope you're having a good new year. Hope your new year is off to a great start. I hope you've been able to list out goals. And I hope you begin to become strategic in between, because you have to list out steps in between the steps. So that's just an extra little tip I wanted to share. I'm going to get ready to get out of here, but I just want to let you all know that this is going to be something I'm starting to do a little bit more consistently. So every Saturday, I'm going to do a live stream. We're going to be on Facebook, we're going to be on YouTube, and we're going to be on Instagram, as well as every Tuesday, I'm going to start doing a live stream just to do a recap of the podcast episode I did the day before, just to give you a little bit more information about the podcast and the feature Fridays and things like that. So if you haven't, once again, checked out the podcast, I would encourage you to go to any platform, streaming platform, and just click on YouTube if you like. It was the interview. I sat down with Brandon Moore in Dallas, and he was really just breaking down and unpacking how to stay connected. He shared a little bit about his story, how he had a rough time at the job, like I know a lot of us do sometimes. And then he went on to give us a little bit more detail, but I'm not gonna give you no more. Go listen to the podcast, check it out. Or you can just click the link in my bio. If you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio and then go down to watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. I have all the links on my link tree on Instagram. It is definitely there. As well as if you're on my YouTube, just go to the last video and it just says Feature Friday, where I interview Brandon Moore. So, all right, friends, I'm about to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you have a great rest of the Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Be fruitful, be productive, find some time to relax, but still get some work done. TEDx speaker and best-selling author Jonathan Jones reminding you to speak your success, believe in your greatness, and continue to create the life and business of your dreams. Why would you want to live any other way? All right, friends. Bye-bye.